Welcome back, Take One. As we are concluding our series of messages based on holiday movies, on Christmas morning we shared The Miracle on 34th Street, that great movie about the belief in Santa Claus. And at this time of the year, that really resonates with the children, but it also resonates with those of us who have children. And as we continue to look at belief, not only in those imageries of Christmas, but especially the one image of Christmas. And I based my message on the 1994 version of the movie. And the movie opens up with this scene of this little boy, and it says, and sort of looks at the man who walked up and looked over at him and, "Look at him, Grandpa! Look at him, Grandpa!" And then a few seconds later, ask him, you gotta ask him. And so the grandfather asked the gentleman that walked up, and he said, "This boy thinks that you're Santa Claus." And the man answers with a loud belly laugh, "I am." And then the light changes and he proceeds to walk off. And then the little boy looks over at his grandfather and goes, "Nuts! I could have gotten his autograph." Well, can you imagine what the disciples might have felt back when they met Jesus for the first time, and wondering, then hearing who he was, that may be the same thing? Or maybe the shepherds, obviously they couldn't have gotten an autograph, or even the wise men, but marveling in the person that they were standing in the presence of. Well, on Christmas morning, we heard John chapter 1. The Word became flesh and dwelt among us. But in that text, it says that the true light was coming into the world. Indeed, he was in the world, yet the world did not know him. And indeed, he came to his own, yet his own did not receive him. Can those words of John be applied today? That as Jesus is in the world does not know him. And even when he comes to his own, that there are times when we don't receive him. You wonder, it seems like a pretty pointless exercise. And that indeed is a line from the movie Miracle on 34th Street. It seems like a pretty pointless exercise as it is applied to Santa Claus, but even more importantly as we hear these words of John, that it can be applied to Jesus. And other lines from the movies that sort of relate. I didn't believe in him last year and I got everything that I wanted. I figured that many acknowledge him to be a fiction. There are those who question his reality. And even more, the fate of the entire world rests on one unstable old man. Indeed, there are some times that we as Christ followers feel like the fate of the entire world rests on one unstable old man. Especially as we encounter those things of life and wondering, Jesus, where are you? God, where have you been? As we see the events of this past year. And now the reality sinks in. But there was something that was said in the movie that I think really speaks to our heart as Christ followers. If you can't believe, if you can't accept anything of faith, then you and I are doomed for a life that is destined by doubt. That's the first take.